So, are you paying too much for your IVF treatment? The answer is probably yeah. And the reason why I say that is because after going to a number of different countries and figuring out their costs, the small print, checking that out, and just generally getting a good feel for the industry, that yeah, there is a lot of variation in how much you pay and the service and the science, etc. Well, the science behind it and the technique is often pretty similar clinic to clinic as well. Now that will differentiate between which part of the world's. My personal experience was inside of Europe. We have gone to Southeast Asia and done a few tours of clinics there and things, which will be uploaded up to the YouTube channel shortly. But really, you don't have to be paying a mammoth amount. And why is that important? Well, obviously you want to save money, but actually more importantly is it depends because this video talks to 3 different people. The person going through a tough to conceive journey and they want to do IVF for the first time, people who have already decided they want to do IVF for the first time, and 3, the people who are, they've been doing IVF over the years. And to all those 3 people, what I would say is IVF should never be expected to be a home run. We expect it to be, that's why we paid 15 grand in the UK all in for treatment, but that was no success was gained of that. £15,000. It's a lot of money. And looking back, I do regret it because often the first IVF treatment cycle that you do is often just to establish a baseline about how well everybody's bodies responds to the treatments, and then you'll know what's best for your bodies after that if you haven't been successful. Secondly, you might need a number of different cycles done. We're 4 years in now, and we've been to IVF clinics that only cost about 3,000 to 4,000 euros now in different countries around Europe. So I think about what we could have done with that 15,000, how many cycles we could have got for that. And I still have a bit of trouble kind of processing that now. But and to the people who are still going through IVF, you have probably already looked at your budget and you've been spending it, and you're probably throwing your hands up in the air and thinking, crikey, is this ever going to happen? So you need to intelligently manage your budget, right? So if you're doing IVF in the UK, that's where we did it first time round. If you're doing it in Australia, if you're doing it in the US, France as well is pretty expensive if you don't do it through public health services. So yeah, you need to choose wisely, my friends, because if you run out of ammunition, you can't take that many shots at a cycle. And that means you'll, miss the target, not get success. So just want to give a quick shout out to a podcast episode we've done, which goes over Europe, the rest of the world, cost comparisons. I will go over a couple of ideas now just for you guys, but that goes into it in depth and it's worth checking that out. That's episode 8. It'll come up on the screen now. 7 and 8 actually. So I mentioned we did £15,000 for our first cycle in the UK, 3,000 to 4,000 euros in Europe. If you paid that amount of money and you're in the same boat as me and you're thinking about doing another one in the UK, think about doing IVF abroad. If you're doing it in the US and it's not in your insurance package, think about Mexico. I think Mexico costs around, in dollars, you're looking at between $5,000 to $6,000, and medication is cheaper there as well. So you save money on that. You can make a holiday out of it if you want. You got options. There's other countries in South America. I'm not going to go into all of them now, but if you're in a position such as I was in the UK, you've got the usual suspects: Spain, Portugal, Czech Republic, Greece, Cyprus. A great many options, much cheaper if you're in Australia. Malaysia, we just came back from Malaysia. I'm in the UK now. You can see the background, just in the driveway. Malaysia, the clinic that we checked out was £6,000. 6,000 euros. We do everything in euros. In dollars, it'll be a bit higher. You're looking at about $7,000. American dollars, that is. Infinitely cheaper than the private healthcare sector in Australia. So bear that in mind. And any money you save, A, you can do more cycles, and B, you can obviously do a lot more with it. Not only you spend the money on, you've got to factor in the flights, right, and things like that, but that can go towards supporting your children as well, college fund, whatever it may be. So I just wanted to make it abundantly clear that you have options. Don't do what we did, pay 15 grand for an IVF cycle in the UK. If you're not eligible for public health services, the NHS, doing IVF through there, we weren't. Our level of help exceeded what they would attempt to provide. And check out Europe. It's on your doorstep. So yeah, if this, I really hope this video has given you just a couple of thoughts to think about if you've been considering IVF, if you're going through IVF and your budget is being hit. Give this a like so other people can have those ideas as well. Hopefully nudge them in the right direction to doing something that's better suited for them. And always you can subscribe as well for more tidbits of information like this. The podcast's available as well. So check that out when you have the time. But to all my brothers and sisters going through it, so much love. I hope you get the success you deserve. I know it's hard. But in the meantime, be well.